Some producers say, yo, man, I don't need music theory. I got my ear, I got my MPC, and hey, that's good enough for me. And they're right, but they're also wrong. Look, you can make beats without understanding music theory. But the reality is when you understand the basics of music theory, then your MPC transforms from a box of pads into a true instrument. You feel what I'm saying? You stop guessing and you start making intentional choices. And that's the difference between producers who just create beats and then a producer who is really building a legacy. Let's talk about it. Who cares about sound design? Well, listen, music theory is not about rules. It's about language. The theory of music gives you a framework to communicate with your MPC. You can translate feelings into structure. It's like learning grammar. It don't kill your creativity. It helps you, create better sentences. It helps you get creative in writing. Look, if you learn music theory, it's not gonna kill your vibe, man. It's gonna enhance your musical vocabulary, dog. You feel what I'm saying? Historically now, this is what I want you to think about. Historically, every major innovation in music has been tied to somebody who was bending or kind of breaking the rules of theory. You feel what I'm saying? But you can't bend and break the rules if you don't even understand the rules right. You won't even understand it how you break them. You do know the story of how hip hop was created, how turntablism was created, right? They broke all the rules, man. Think about jazz musicians, man. They broke classical harmony all the time. Hip hop, they were flipping, different phrases. EDM was reshaping progressions. Each of these genres that I just talked about, they had a breakthrough. Feel what I'm saying? They understood the foundation of this music theory stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try to make it real for you. Without music theory, you might randomly hit pads until something sounds right. But if you have a good understanding or a basic understanding of music theory, then you will know that the key of C major, the chords C, F, and G, they naturally work together. So then on the MPC, that means if you're loading the chord progression plugin or mapping your pads to trigger chords, it's going to shape the harmony and that movement, and you're not going to just be using trial and error. I'm telling you, when you understand scales, finger drumming becomes like second nature. You just understand the melody. You feel what I'm saying? So if you're in A minor, then you already know every pad triggering A, C, D, E, and G are gonna fit in A minor. You feel what I'm saying? So then if you soloing, yo man, you doing things in an intentional manner. You're not just doing things on accident. You understand the rhythm. You understand the timing. You know what I'm saying? Because rhythm is the heartbeat of the MPC. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you understand music theory, that's going to teach you, the subdivisions, you know what I'm saying? Eighth notes, triplets, and all that type of stuff, syncopation and all that type of stuff, right? But on the MPC, it translates into a grid pattern. It translates into quantization. It translates into swing. You know what I'm saying? But if you get it, then when you're programming those drums, you're doing something different because you understand exactly what you're doing. Think about sampling. When you chop a sample, right? You drop it into the MPC and then you start chopping that sample, right? if you understand music theory, then what's going to happen is it's going to help you understand the key and the chord movement. So then that means that since you empower yourself with knowledge, then you can layer your own bass line or your own synth on top of it, and it just fit perfectly instead of kind of guessing how you're building the song. You feel what I'm saying? You got to understand the practical advantage of understanding music theory, because if you understand it, look, you're gonna move faster. You feel what I'm saying? I'm telling you, move faster when you understand, because you're not waiting on your ear to see what sounds right. You know what I'm saying? Your tracks, they're gonna sound intentional. You know, it's not gonna just be a lucky guess at it. You know, so I just use my ear and boom, it's lucky. Now people do that all the time, and it's all good. That can be done. But if you understand music theory, or just the basics of it, then what you'll be able to do is that you'll be able to communicate better with a musician, with an engineer, with a singer, with a vocalist, and you can speak in a shared language. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. It's massively important. You know, I think about trap producers, right? They use minor scales, they use heavy 808s, but they're not just stumbling into that dark, grippy, gritty mood. Nah, they understand the theory. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm working on lo-fi right now, right? And I understand seventh chords. Feel what I'm saying? Because they create a different type of texture to your sound. Feel what I'm saying? You got to be able to apply the theory sonically. You get the understanding so you can apply it sonically. You feel what I'm saying? Because what you're doing is you're trying to understand the theory. Because if you can understand the theory, then it will perfectly bridge and match your ears. So you're trying to bridge your ears with the theory of music. You feel what I'm saying? That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, you don't have to know music theory. You don't. You know what I'm saying? You already have a producer's ear. You know what I'm saying? But if you understand the theory of music, then that ear is going to be sharpened. You feel what I'm saying? Because, you know, you can use your MPC scale mode to kind of lock pads to a key and then start exploring, right? You know, you can start with a concept, you know, and then you can just kind of learn, you know, the chord relationships and different keys or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But what I want you to do is practice by recognizing chord qualities. Know, you know what I'm saying, what majors are, you know what I'm saying, the minors, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, even while you finger drumming, you know what I'm saying, just think of it like learning shortcuts on a computer. You know what I'm saying? You would click around with a mouse all day, you get a few keys, you can move, you know what I'm saying? But if you remember them keys, you're gonna move 10 times faster. You feel what I'm saying? So the theory of music is kind of like a shortcut for creativity. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing this video and you may be asking yourself, man, what in the world is this dude talking about? I don't want to hear this. It may be only one person listening right now, because as I'm talking about actual music theory in a manner that's massively relatable. You feel what I'm saying? This stuff matters, but sometimes it don't matter, because some producers, they hit their ceiling. And if you're a producer that you hit your plateau or you hit your ceiling, then look, man, you may have to do something different. Everybody hits a point where everything that they do or everything that they make kind of sounds the same. So you have to study the theory of music, and then that will make it where you can break that plateau. You can just go above that stuck point. You feel what I'm saying? Because it'll give you the new tools. It'll give your mind a new color palette, a new sound palette, just give you new ideas. You feel what I'm saying? Because we are living in a world where thousands of beats are dropping every single day. So what is going to separate you from everybody else? So music theory is going to give you the power to shape your sound design. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just, you know what I'm saying, finger drumming on a hope. if you understand and empower yourself with knowledge, you're gonna be able to build and not just do things by accident. So I'm gonna challenge you to not think about music theory as something that belongs only in a classroom or is only given by some college professor, because I'm an 8th grade dropout. You know, so I had to sit down, and then I had to sit down for an extended period of time, and that's why I had to start studying and learning some things that I was interested in. You feel what I'm saying? I got forced to do that. You feel what I'm saying? But I want you to think about music theory. Think about sheet music. You know what I'm saying? Think about music theory in a different way. Think of it as a weapon that's gonna unlock the potential that you have inside of your mind. Learn one scale at a time. Build one chord progression. Count one new rhythm. Apply it to your pads. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, man, if you combine theory with technology, then you're not just a beat maker. You become a musician. You become a strategist. You become a creator that works and can stand the test of time no matter what is happening out here, because you understand the theory of music. I'm telling you, let it empower you and your MPC workflow. You feel what I'm saying? Do practical applications, understand chord scales, sampling. I'm just saying, there's so many benefits. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, so many benefits. And talk to other individuals and, empower yourself with knowledge. Now, peep this. I want you to go to a song that I produce. It's at mpcwarriors.com. It's called MPC Warriors, because if you are MPC Warriors, that's the official anthem. You feel what I'm saying? Now, for me, MPC stands for music, podcasting, and creating. You know what I'm saying? Because creative content is where it's at right now. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I got a book called Mastering the Gear and the Grind and Studio Life, 10x.com. Hey, man, I'll talk to you soon.
StudioLive10x.com. Studio Live.
Mastering the gear and the grind, refusing to stagnate, got my eyes on the shine. Power grind, gang, we rising.
StudioLive10x.com.
Mastering the gear and the grind, refusing to stagnate, got my eyes on the shine. Power grind, gang, we rising. Yeah, we out here.